Chapter 814. Evening Feast 3. Chainer had always been a soft-hearted person. Sponsored content. Remove ads? If the Qin family had been really treating him nicely, he would never be treating Qin fair like that. It was true that he had suffered a lot of grievances and had never spoken about any of it, much less say a sentence to her. It really pissed her off and broke her heart, seeing Qin Shen like that. Okay. The youth beamed. The smile was as bright as the sun. Sponsored content. Remove ads? It was as if the sky had suddenly cleared up, and even the moonlight looked brighter than before. Like a needle, his smile pierced deeply into Qin Fei's heart. She clenched on her fists tightly as she looked at Qin Shen, palely. Pain and feelings of aggrieve spread inside her heart, making her seem even more paler than usual, as pale as snow. No doubt she was the closest person to Qin Shen in this world. However, why would he smile so brightly at a woman who was nothing? Qin Fei gently closed her eyes and slowly reopened it after a while. No matter what, Chainer would still care for her as his sister. Or else, he would not have returned willingly to be her drug primer, just to help her enter the Mu family and approach that seemingly divine man. Sponsored content. Remove ads? Feng Ruqing looked around and said, "This is the so-called Tianxin manner. Nothing special." Chainer was abandoned by his parents? Ridiculous. That's only the one-sided words of Qin family, but it has already made the whole world believe without a shadow of a doubt. Qin Xiaoye stiffened a little as she sneered. If it weren't because of his poor family background, why would the Qin family adopt him when the Qin family is so powerful? I bet only the Qin family know the answer. What I know is only that I will never allow anyone to bully Chainer. Qin Shun seemed docile. He had never cared about anyone's words all these years. To be protected by her, it felt so good. Sponsored content. Remove ads? It was as if a hint of current flowed in his heart, warming it up. Luo Fei. Qin Xiaoye's face was almost contorted as she turned to look at Luo Fei. Liar has been bewitched by this woman. Now, they are ganging up to bully Fei. And don't you know Fei's character well enough? She will always be tolerant of everything and bear all the grievances alone whenever she feels wronged. I'm her aunt. How could I bear to see her suffer like that? Luo Fei frowned a little. This little girl was aggressive and disagreeable enough. Moreover, the Qin family had provided Qin Shen a home, but Qin Chun had treated Fei in such a way. It was indeed his fault too. Perhaps only that little girl was capable of pinning the blame on others and defending Qin Chun by saying he was innocent. However, after all the interrogations, Luo Fei could not bring himself to speak as soon as he saw Luo Li's cold face. He could only heave a soft sigh. Liar, haven't you always been close to Fei? Perhaps there are some misunderstandings since Fei is naive in nature and would never bewitch others. Both of you should talk it out if there have been any misunderstandings. At first, Luo Li thought she was already fully disappointed with Luo Fei. However, her heart turned completely cold as soon as she heard his words. The corners of her lips lifted into a scornful smile as she said coldly, "Compare to bewitching people's mind. Our manor lady Xiaoqing can never do better than the Qin Xiaoye who stays with you. She has already drugged you by making you not know right from wrong and good from evil." Liar. Luo Fei slightly frowned. "I'm doing this for your own good. You're my daughter. How can I not love you? I just don't want to see you and Fei in such a fight. The whole Tianxin manor knows well that how close both of you were." That was right. They were really close before, and therefore, the spirit herbs were too good to be eaten as she had kept all of it and shared it with Fei. That's fine, but do you know that, back in Heaven Qin Xiaoye had deliberately hurt Luo Li with boiling hot water. It was Qin Fei who had blocked her on her way out as she was feeling so anxious. She stopped her from leaving and instead tried to be a peacemaker, demanding Luo Li to forgive Qin Xiaoye. Did you even know that she was wounded badly by the hot water? I had already dressed the wound before she returned to the Luo family. The wound was much more terrible before that. Don't tell me that Qin Fei was not aware of her wound, which is ridiculous. If she really cares for her, how could she not be aware of her agony? Luo Fei was speechless and stunned. Then, he turned to look at Qin Xiaoye. Xiaoye had never told him that Qin Fei was present that day. much less about Qin Feier dragging Luo Li back and preventing her from healing her wound. Liar was nursed in luxury ever since she was born. How pained she must have been in then. All these years, the grievances she has gone through are already enough. Feng Ruqing slowly closed in. It's apparent that Shiz was not always the one who had done wrong. Yet, Qin Feier had always demanded her to be tolerant of others. If others wished for something, Liar must give it to them. For what and why? Everybody knows that Qin Feier is a good person, but they didn't know that she's only making use of Luo Li to be in such a position. Chapter 8:16. Do it on your own if you wish to be the good guy. Sponsored content remove ads? What makes you think that you could make use of Luo Li to make the others think that you are the honorable one? You have received a good reputation by making use of her. However, you are hurting her recklessly and have never cared if she was feeling all right. Luo Fei's face stiffened more. All he knew was that whenever he bought something for Luo Li, the thing would be gone after he went out and come back to her again. There was even once when Luo Li's mother's things were almost taken away by others, and it was he who had helped to get them back. However, Luo Li had never told him before that Qin Feier was involved in this matter. How else could he have been aware of this? Sponsored content remove ads? Liar, how come you have said nothing about it? If you have told me, things would not have turned out this way. Feng Ruqing sneered and said, if it were my father, he wouldn't have questioned me like this after he has found out the truth. Instead, he would only feel pity, angry at the person who has hurt me, and also glad that I have finally found out the true colors of a person. You, on the other hand, even though I have told you about her difficulties, your first reaction is to question her for not telling you first? Luo Fei looked even more annoyed as he clenched his fists tightly and turned to glare at Qin Xiaoya. Qin Xiaoya looked shocked as she bit on her lip tightly. With a malicious look, she stared at Feng Ruqing, furiously. What an interfering busybody. Do they envy me for living a good life? Especially Luo Li, that fellow, who lived with him but was secretly helping outsiders. After all, she was still her stepmother, and Feier was her good old friend of many years. How could she allow others to spew nonsense about her? Xiaoqing. Sponsored content remove ads? Luo Li put on a smile. That was the first time Luo Li had smiled since the incident of being burnt by the hot water in front of Luo Fei. However, she was smiling at the others. Thank you. She walked in front of Feng Ruqing and gently held her hand. In this world, besides her grandmother and little fox, Xiaoqing was the first person who had protected her no matter what. She would remember the warmth in her heart. Let's go. With a gentle smile, Feng Ruqing caressed Luo Li's head while she spoke, softly. Okay, Xiaoqing, is your father lacking daughters? What if I am to be his daughter? I'm very docile and obedient, it's true. Sponsored content remove ads? Sure, I'll inform him, and since he has always been fond of daughters, he will definitely agree since you're such a lovely girl. Luo Fei was speechless as his face darkened. Did this little girl really want to abandon him? She had asked to be others' daughter in front of him. Did she treat him like he was nothing to her? Liar! Luo Fei was flooded with the sense of regret and guilt when a cold and stern voice suddenly spoke from behind him just as he wanted to speak. I heard that somebody was deliberately hurting people in my manor just now. Tonight is my daughter's birthday. Who dares to not respect us and hurt others in this place? Not far away, Gu Shi had brought a troop of imperial guards along and was slowly advancing toward them. Feng Ruqing and Luo Li were stopped from leaving that place. The imperial guards suddenly rushed forward and surrounded everyone. They were so closely surrounded that it was impossible to break out from that ambush. Qin Chen stood beside Feng Ruqing quietly as he glared coldly at all the imperial guards. Something cold flashed in his eyes. Manor Master, it's that woman. She's the one who has beaten me for no reason. The middle-aged man who was thrown away by Feng Ruqing and was holding his head in pain stared at Feng Ruqing angrily. Nobody dared to start a fight within the chief manor. Therefore, he did not fight back even though he was beaten. Instead, he quickly went to Manor Master and reported what Feng Ruqing had done to the Manor Master. Chapter 8:17. Evening Feast 6. This arrogant girl was so dead this time. Sponsored content remove ads? Chainer, come here, quickly, Qin Feier said, hurriedly, as her face changed. She was relieved that Feng Ruqing had gotten into trouble with the chief manor. At least, someone could teach this unruly girl a lesson. To Qin Feier, Qin Chun was not just her younger brother, he was also her drug primer. She did not want Qin Chan to get into trouble with the chief manor just because of a woman. Feng Ruqing turned and looked at Gu Shi, calmly. Gu Shi was also looking at the girl in front of him. This girl was neither humble nor arrogant, but she was calm and confident. This has made her a likable person. Sponsored content remove ads? But today was Yi's birthday. Would it not be embarrassing for Yi if there were any chaos in the chief manor? Lady, Gu Shi smiled a little. If you have any resentment against these people, you can go outside to resolve it. The chief manor is not a place where you can create troubles. What about this? You can go outside and fight it out. After you are done, you can come back. The middle-aged man who was still complaining was speechless. Why did the ending seem off? Someone was causing trouble at young Lady Gus' birthday feast. Should the manor master not beat her up and drive her out by now? Why did he allow them to go outside to fight it out? At this moment, the middle-aged man had suddenly forgotten that Gu Shi was not just an ordinary manor master. He was a ruthless man who had killed the former manor master just because he was dissatisfied with him. He had even replaced the former manor master and became one himself. Manor master. Qin Xiaoye glanced, proudly, at Feng Ruqing and then turned to look at Gu Shi. I suggest that it would be better to drive her out of Tianshan Manor to prevent my manor's liar from being misled by her. Manor master should know young Lady Gus' temper the best. If she learns that someone is causing trouble during her birthday, she will be furious. Gu Shi suddenly came to his senses and stared at Feng Ruqing with his vigilant eyes when Gu Yi was mentioned. Sponsored content remove ads? He had almost forgotten that his daughter disliked men now. She liked women. This birthday feast was originally organized to find a good husband for Yi, but this girl was so pretty. What if his little devil had a crush on her? No, absolutely not, Gu Shi said, solemnly. I agree with young Lady Qin's words. Lady, I can only ask you to leave the chief manor. It seemed a little too bad to drive her out of Tianshan Manor since she did not make any mistakes. But he must not let any beautiful girl hang around Yi, lest Yi would be more certain in loving women. Sponsored content remove ads? Father. Gu Shi's body stiffened when he suddenly heard the angry voice. Qin Xiaoye's smile became more complacent. She had already said that Gu Yi would definitely be angry earlier. Now, this humble girl could not leave even if she wanted to. After thinking about this, Qin Xiaoye turned and looked in the direction where the voice had come from. Then, her eyes widened as she was stunned. The fat girl that she had expected did not appear. Instead, a slim girl came forward. This girl was beautiful and lovely. She was no worse than Feier. Now, she walked over like a light breeze. Her beautiful face was filled with anger. The person next to Gu Shi said, dumbfoundedly, Manor Master, do you have an illegitimate daughter? This lady is bullshit. Gu Shi yelled, angrily. She is my only precious daughter. Everyone was shocked. They could not recover from the shock for a long while. His precious daughter? Was this girl Gu Yi? I'm sorry, I can't recognize people's faces well. You have become too beautiful after you have completely lost weight. Gu Yi, who was still sobbing in tears, suddenly smiled, shyly, after hearing Feng Ruqing's words. Xiao Qing had praised her. Xiao Qing must not have praised Xiaoyin like this. Was she, then, the first woman who was praised by Xiao Qing? Just thinking about it made her happy. Qin Chun glanced at Gu Yi and turned toward Feng Ruqing. Qing, I have guessed it correctly. You really did seduce her. Luo Li lifted her head instantly and stared at Feng Ruqing, unblinkingly. Among the people who were present there, only she could understand the meaning of Qin Chen's words. Did both Nanxian's fiancés become his love rivals in the end? Did Feng Ruqing really want to piss Gu Shi off? Chapter 819. Feng Ruqing was silent for a while. If I say I'm innocent, will you believe me? Sponsored content remove ads? It was really not her fault that Nanxian's reputation was ruined. She was the most innocent person. The smile on Qin Xiaoya's face stiffened before it disappeared. Qin Feier was also staring blankly at Feng Ruqing and Gu Yi for a long time. She seemed to be immersed in her thoughts. The middle-aged man who was still complaining just now was so scared that he almost fainted. Gu Shi could not bear with them. He was so furious. Just as he wanted to speak, Gu Yi quickly glared at him. He was so afraid that he could not make any sound. He could only let Yi do what she wanted to do because his little devil liked her very much. Sponsored content remove ads? But his gaze on Feng Ruqing grew more resentful, as if his favorite thing had been snatched by her. Father, did you just say that you wanted to drive Xiaoqing out? Gu Yi suddenly remembered Gu Shi's words and asked, angrily. Gu Shi's face changed. No, that's impossible. I didn't. He would never admit it. I don't care. I heard you say so myself. Gu Yi turned her head angrily. If you want to drive her away, I'll go with her. Gu Shi was about to cry. One little devil, what do you want? Sponsored content remove ads? Okay, I admit that I am wrong. Can't you show some respect to your father in front of this person? Little devil, you have really heard it wrongly. I told the person who was beaten up by Xiaoqing to leave Tianshan Manor. One Gu Shi's face darkened. He turned to the guard behind him and sternly commanded, What are you still doing? Quickly get these people who are causing trouble out now. The middle-aged man was terrified. He did not dare to argue for himself. He feared that Gu Yi might become angrier. Gu Yi then smiled with satisfaction before she snorted twice. It is impossible that it was Xiaoqing's fault. How could she make mistakes? These people are unforgivable since they dared to bully Xiaoqing in my house. However, you have apologized sincerely. So, I won't blame you for what you have done. Gu Shi was relieved. His little devil's temper was uncontrollable. Sponsored content remove ads? Fortunately, the little devil had only argued with him. She did not throw and smash things everywhere as she had done before. So, the chief manor could avoid unnecessary damage. However, he could not stand scolding and beating this little devil. What else could he do? He could only spoil her and let her do what she wanted to do. Xiaoqing. Gu Yi turned around and looked at Feng Ruqing. Do you remember me and Xiaoyin whom you have left in Luyun Kingdom? Feng Ruqing was speechless. She remembered Xiaoyin, but Gu Yi had changed drastically. Therefore, she could not immediately recognize Gu Yi. You really have a sweetheart out there and have forgotten about us? Gu Yi cried with grievances. But it doesn't matter. I have become prettier now. You will always remember me, now. 1 inch actually. Feng Ruqing felt sorry for Gu Yi. She caressed Gu Yi's head. You were also very cute when you were fat. Gu Yi was even sadder after Feng Ruqing said that. She was not wrong. The person whom Xiaoqing really liked was when she was the 250 pounds beauty. She could not become fat in such a short time. Gu Yi was still following Gu Huan. He only looked up after hearing Feng Ruqing's words. Chapter 820. Evening Feast 9. She did not dislike the manor lady when she was obese. She was pretty and had a good temper. On top of that, this lady seemed to be that Lady Xiaoqing whom the manor master had mentioned. Sponsored content remove ads? The last request that was made by the manor master was to be able to talk about Lady Xiaoqing with the manor lady. So, if she talked about herself, it was fine, right? Was that why the manor master had set so many unreasonable demands just for this lady? Manor master. Gu Yi pondered for a moment. You have asked me to find a good husband for the young lady. I have found it now. I think this girl is quite good. Although they are both women, there is nothing wrong, so, get out. Gu Shi shouted angrily. His baby girl was interested in women, and this jerk still dared to bring that up. Sponsored content remove ads? Did he want the manor master to have no descendants? Xiaoqing, today is my birthday. Have you brought me any gifts? Gu Yi blinked. She was obviously anticipating Feng Ruqing's present. All eyes were on Feng Ruqing. Qin Xiaoya sneered and said, Young Lady Gu, this maiden is from an ordinary family. Wouldn't it be embarrassing for her to reveal her gift in the public? However, She should take out the gift first since young Lady Gu has mentioned it. Lady Qin. Gu Shi's face was cold. He glanced at Xiaoye coldly. Whatever my daughter does is none of your business. You should just mind your own business. Otherwise, there is no place for you in this Tian Shan manor. Qin Xiaoye seemed to look awful. She had done it out of kindness. Who would have known that the manor master was so protective of his daughter? Luo Fei could not compare to him. Xiaoye. Luo Fei was a little bit upset. He slightly frowned. You don't have to talk much. Just stand quietly. Sponsored content remove ads? Qin Xiaoye was dissatisfied. She knew that Gu Shi's status was unshakable. She had to unwillingly stand aside and glare at Feng Ruqing resentfully. Qin Fei was not as talkative as Qin Xiaoye. She still knew what to say on what occasion. But when she saw that Feng Ruqing and Gu Yi were so close, she was very unhappy and there was no trace of blood on her face. Gu Yi's temper was already bad, but Qin Xiaoye still dared to teach her a lesson. She had almost stood up angrily. Fortunately, Feng Ruqing had pulled her back down. Since it is your birthday today, we can just ignore these people at the feast. But I really did not prepare your birthday gift. Well, I can give you one now. Do you have any paper and a writing brush?
Yes.
Gu Yi was full of joy. Sponsored content remove ads? She liked everything that was given by Feng Ruqing. Therefore, Gu Yi immediately asked a maid to get the ink, a writing brush, and paper from the study room. Feng Ruqing held the paper in her hand and soaked the writing brush in the ink. She then wrote down a few lines and handed the paper to Gu Yi. This is your birthday gift. Gu Yi was very excited. She quickly accepted the paper. She was holding the paper carefully since the ink on the paper had not dried. The other people saw that Feng Ruqing had only written a few lines to Gu Yi as her gift. Even if the handwriting was very nice, such a gift was too shabby. Only Luo Li, who was standing beside Feng Ruqing, leaned over and saw a few words at a glance. Xiao Qing wrote spirit herb on the paper. Why did she write spirit herb? She was very confused. Suddenly, she thought of the spirit herbal dish recipe that Feng Ruqing had given to her grandmother. Chapter 821. It was said that she had gotten the recipe from Paramount. Maybe this one too? Sponsored content remove ads? Although everyone was scornful toward Feng Ruqing's gift, Gu Yi still held the blank paper in her hand and smiled brightly. Xiao Qing, the gift you have given me is too precious. I must give you something too. You can take whatever you like from my house. You can even take my father away. 1-inch fact, what Gu Yi had said was not wrong. She had used many spirit herbs in exchange to lose weight. Besides, Feng Ruqing had given her the recipe and asked for nothing in return. Although Gu Yi did not know what the recipe was useful for, she still understood the value of a herbal dish recipe. It was too valuable. She felt guilty that the gift was so valuable. Sponsored content remove ads? Feng Ruqing tilted her head and stared blankly at Gu Shi. She grinned. Your father is too old. Although my father is old, there are often young girls who throw themselves at him. In the meantime, you can allow him to go out to seduce young and beautiful girls. After that, you can take them all for yourselves behind him. Wouldn't it be like you are in a harem of 3,000 beauties? However, Xiao Yin and I must be the main ones. 2-inch. If so, would the state preceptor not go crazy? It was scary to think about it. Gu Shi's face was very dark. Was he such a bastard that would seduce young girls in his daughter's eyes? Sponsored content remove ads? When had he done that? Why did he himself not know about it? Moreover, his daughter not only did not hesitate to give him away to please the girl, but she also wanted him to manage the harem for the girl. Actually, Gu Yi had her own reasons for doing so. Even though she and Xiaoyin added up together, they were still not as good as Nanxian. So, it would be better to find more girls to compete with Nanxian. She thought that the harem of 3,000 beauties should be able to compete with Nanxian. Then they could have their places next to Xiao Qing. Let's go. Gu Yi held Feng Ruqing's hand with a bright smile on her face. Those men who had once looked down on her were heartbroken and could not stop looking at Gu Yi. Sponsored content remove ads? Wait. Qin Xiaoye gritted her teeth. She talked to Feng Ruqing sarcastically this time. Lady Feng, Young Lady Gu likes you so much, but you have only selfishly written her a few lines. No matter how beautiful your handwriting is, you are showing no respect to the manor master." "Who said that?" Gu Yi rolled her eyes toward Qin Xiaoya. "Xiao Qing's handwriting is obviously ugly, but it is priceless. People like you who don't know how to appreciate the true value of things will never understand how valuable the paper is." Xiao Qing had given her the herbal dish recipe because she trusted Gu Yi. She could not betray Xiao Qing. Even so, Gu Yi was so angry when she heard someone slandering Feng Ruqing. Qin Xiaoya's face stiffened. She let out a short but sharp laugh. "Young Lady Gu, shut up." Gu Yi sneered. "You keep criticizing my manners, Xiao Qing's small gift. When have you ever shown your respect to the chief manor? No matter how expensive the things that you have sent from the Qin family are, those things are worthless in my eyes." Qin Xiaoya did not expect that just by casually questioning Xiao Qing about the gift would cause so much trouble. Neither did she expect that someone would dare to not let her have her way in such a way in the chief manor. Qin Xiaoya pushed Luo Fei quite hard. Luo Fei, this guy, was he still a man? She was being treated like this, yet that man had not even said a word. Luo Fei frowned a little. "Xiaoya, this is the chief manor. You really shouldn't talk too much. Moreover, you still haven't explained to me whether Qin Feier had really treated Liar like this." Chapter 822. Qin Xiaoya pursed her lip tightly. Sponsored content remove ads? Luo Fei, since you are treating me like that, don't blame me for doing this to you. If your Luo family is in trouble, only then will you know that I'm the only one who will not abandon you. She suddenly saw Qin Li, and when you walking into the crowd from the back. When you signaled her with a wink. She then calmed down and smiled. "Young Lady Gu, I'm sorry that I have offended you just now. My manners Luo Fei has gone to many places to look for your birthday gift. He has brought you the 1,000 odds ginseng fruit. Although young Lady Gu has become more beautiful now, women still don't mind to be more beautiful." Qin Xiaoya's fake smile made Luo Li felt restless and uncomfortable. Sponsored content remove ads? 1,000 odds ginseng fruit? Isn't it a grade 6 spirit fruit? This time, the Luo family has spent a lot of money on it. After all, the relationship between the Luo family and the chief manor is not that bad. This is the first birthday feast for young Lady Gu, so naturally, the gift is not that great. Compared to the girl who had just casually written down a few lines, the Luo family's gift is more valuable. Everyone was whispering about it. Some ladies were so envious of Gu Yi. Some of the spirit herbs could only advance to higher grades when they had reached a certain age or had absorbed enough spiritual qi. The grade of the spirit herbs was also divided according to this, not by the degree of rarity. Sponsored content remove ads? Therefore, there are spirit herbs in each grade that were extremely rare. 1,000 odds ginseng fruit was also one of them. It was certainly difficult for the Luo family to get their hands on the 1,000 odds ginseng fruit. So, it was very valuable. Luo Fei initially did not want to take out the spirit herb before the birthday feast. However, since Qin Xiaoya had mentioned about it, he did not want to embarrass Xiaoya in the public even if he was very dissatisfied. He could only pass the box to the guard next to him. After handing over the box, he glared at Qin Xiaoya and frowned a little. He felt distressed. "Xiaoya, what is up with you today?" It was as if she had changed into another person. She was no longer the person whom Luo Fei was familiar with. Sponsored content remove ads? Qin Xiaoya frowned, coldly. "Luo Fei, you just need to know that I'm the only one who will not abandon you in this world." Luo Li was a very ungrateful person. If anything happened to the Luo family, she would definitely run away. Only she, Qin Xiaoya, would stay. She wanted to use this incident to make Luo Fei recognize this. The guard held the box carefully and walked toward Gu Shi. Gu Shi saw that Gu Yi refused to accept the gift. He could not help but sigh and keep the gift for Gu Yi. "All right, the feast is about to begin. You all may come in now." He was holding the box and wanted to leave. Suddenly, Qin Xiaoya spoke again. "Manor Master, don't you want to take a look at the spirit herb?" Gu Shi's face darkened. He looked at Luo Fei, coldly. Luo Fei was not an insightful person. How did he have a crush on this woman from the Qin family? This woman was only causing him troubles all day long. Xiaoye. Luo Fei was angry. He lowered his voice and reprimanded. That's enough. Qin Xiaoye smiled and ignored Luo Fei. Luo Fei, you have prepared this gift for so long. I have never seen it with my own eyes. I just want to grab this opportunity to look at the spirit herb. Other people would also want to see this 1000 odds ginseng fruit, too. Tian Shun Manor was rich with spirit herbs. If it was only a grade 6 spirit herb, he had seen it before. But this was the 1000 odds ginseng fruit, which was extremely rare. Chapter 823. Evening Feast 12. Even though many people knew how the 1000 odds ginseng fruit looked like, they had never seen it with their own eyes. Hence, everyone present was burning with curiosity. Sponsored content remove ads? Gu Shi was growing impatient. This time, it was not merely about Luo Fei's reputation, it was his daughter's birthday. He did not want to mess it up. More importantly, he wanted to know what Qin Xiaoye was after. Since this is a gift for you, you could unbox it on your own. Gu Shi turned to look at Gu Yi. His stern face melted into tenderness. All right. Gu Yi pouted as she walked up to Gu Shi and unboxed the gift clumsily. Well, there is nothing special about this 1000 odds ginseng fruit. Sponsored content remove ads? A baby-shaped glistening fruit lied quietly inside the box. It was so adorable that one could not bear to eat it. The corner of Qin Xiaoye's lips curved into a faint smile and quickly vanished without a trace. However, Feng Ruqing had seen Qin Xiaoye's reaction. Luo Li, what is your stepmother wants to do? Feng Ruqing shrugged. She is not my stepmother, Luo Li said, resolutely. Even if Luo Fei had fallen for this lady, Luo Li would never accept her. Qing, keep an eye on the fruit given by Luo Fei. A good show is coming up. Qin smiled, faintly. What? Initially, Feng Ruqing did not pay much attention to the fruit. After hearing Qin's words, she furrowed her brows together as she looked at the finger-sized baby-shaped ginseng fruit. Sponsored content remove ads? When Yu was standing among the crowd with a smile on her face. She knew that Qin Xiaoye was staring at her, but she pretended to not notice that. She turned to look at a middle-aged lady not far away and gave her a signal. The middle-aged lady read the signal and walked out of the crowd slowly with a smiling face. Young Lady Gu, I heard that this spirit herb has amazing beauty benefits and one can immediately feel the effect right after she eats it. As it was extremely hard to sow, we can rarely see it. Why don't you prove to us that the saying is real? Smiling, the middle-aged lady said as she slowly stepped out of the crowd. Growing increasingly impatient, Gu Yi stared coldly at the middle-aged lady. Sponsored content remove ads? The middle-aged lattice words had titillated the curiosity of the crowd. I want to know if the 1000 odds ginseng fruit is truly so powerful. If the saying is real, I want to get one for my daughter. Young Lady Gu, why don't you show us the power of this spirit herb? We want to know if this spirit herb is worth all the hard work to grow. Young Lady Gu, since you said that the Luo family is no match for the lady that you like, if the spirit herb doesn't turn out the way we expect, it proves that the gift from the Luo family is not as precious as what Qin Xiaoye has claimed it to be. Originally, Gu Yi was dismissive of the Luo family's gift. After hearing the words of the people around her, her eyes lit up. They are right. Those who look down on Shaoqing, I can prove them wrong. Moreover, I could take this chance to promote the herbal dish of paramount for Shaoqing. Jiuming told Gu Yi before that paramount belonged to Feng Ruqing. Hence, Feng Ruqing was the actual master of paramount. Hence, Gu Yi was actually helping the Feng Ruqing if she could help paramount to get more customers. Well, since you all are so interested to know the effect, I will show it to you. Beaming with pride, the corner of Gu Yi's lips lifted. Chapter 824. I am truly smart. Since Shaoqing loves money so much, she will definitely think that I am a good wife. Sponsored content remove ads? Originally, Qin Xiaoye should be thrilled as Gu Yi wanted to eat the spirit herb. However, when she heard Gu Yi's words, color drained from her face. Her panic-stricken eyes were fixed at Wan Yu. This is totally different from what sister-in-law has told me. She is supposed to tell everyone that the thing in the box is poison. Why is she urging Gui to eat it? If Gui dies, the same would go to the Luo family. Are you all right? Luo Fei frowned. He had finally noticed that there was something wrong with Qin Xiaoye. No, nothing. Qin Xiaoye shook her head. Her lips were quivering. It was not too late for Qin Xiaoye to tell everyone the truth now, so that Luo Fei would not lose his life. However, if she did so, everyone would know that she was the one who had changed the spirit herb and wanted to kill Gui. She would lose her life. Sponsored content remove ads? Luo Fei, I am sorry. I have no choice. It's all Wenye's fault. She has left me in the dark. I have never thought that she would lie to me. Feng Ruqing could feel there was something wrong with the thousand odds ginseng fruit since the very beginning. There was a hint of violet traces on the right of the thousand odds ginseng fruit. The violet traces were too pale, and one could hardly notice it at a glance. Suddenly, something flashed through Feng Ruqing's mind. Just as Gu Yi wanted to bite into the thousand odds ginseng fruit, Feng Ruqing's face changed. She quickly rushed over and slapped Gu Yi's hands. The spirit herb fell to the ground. Its glistening flesh scattered all over the place. Dumbfounded, everyone looked at Feng Ruqing in bewilderment. Xiao Qing, staring at Feng Ruqing's cold face, Gu Yi too was startled. Sponsored content remove ads? What happened? Why is Xiao Qing so mad? Qin Xiaoye subconsciously heaved a sigh of relief. However, she could not reconcile herself to the fact that Feng Ruqing was the one who had stopped Gu Yi. It seems that someone felt that her gift is too lousy and does not want others to give young Lady Gu a precious gift. The corner of Qin Xiaoye's lips curved into a sneer. Luo Fei too was dissatisfied with Feng Ruqing's reaction. Hence, he did not stop Qin Xiaoye. He merely furrowed his brows together as he looked at Feng Ruqing. Young Lady Xiao Qing, you are stunned. Gu Shi did not know what Feng Ruqing was doing. Sponsored content remove ads? Is there any physician in the chief manor? Feng Ruqing was still calm and composed. He is in the middle of something and not in the chief manor now. Why are you looking for him? Get him back to the chief manor now. He will know what has happened once he is here. Calmly, Feng Ruqing's gaze swept past Luo Fei and was fixed on Qin Xiaoye for a while before landing on Gu Shi. Will this lady find it out? Qin Xiaoye's face darkened. Well, what could she do even if she really finds it out? The spirit herb has been broken into pieces. Even if the physician is here, he will not be able to find anything. Thinking of this, Qin Xiaoyu loosened up a little and let out a long breath. Seeing Feng Ruqing's solemn face, Gu Shi did not even in the slightest bit, relax. He signaled his subordinate to leave. A few people read his signal and left. In the crowd, when Yu and Qin Li exchanged glances, their eyes filled with panic. When Yu clenched her teeth and carefully took a few steps back, Qin Chun was watching both Wen Yu and Qin Li since the beginning. Once he noticed their movements, he whispered in Feng Ruqing's ear. Chapter 825. Feng Ruqing raised her brow and subconsciously followed Qin Chen's gaze. Seeing that Wen Yu was about to leave, the corner of her lips lifted. Sponsored content remove ads? No one is allowed to leave the chief manor before the physician is here. The feast will start later on. The people present was in an uproar. No one was allowed to leave? Who did this lady think she was? Does this lady think that she could do anything she wanted just because Gui liked her? Hearing this, Wen Yu paused. A flicker of fear crossed her pale face. The thousand odds ginseng fruit is gone. With a cold face, Qin Li subconsciously held onto Wen Ye's hand. Sponsored content remove ads? In other words, no one would find out that the thousand odds ginseng fruit was, in fact, poisonous. Moreover, even if someone found it out, it was a gift from Luo Fei. Hence, Luo Fei would appear as the person who wanted to kill Gui. If worse came to worst, he would make Qin Xiaoye a scapegoat. Qin Li and Wen Yu were not involved. Young Lady Xiao Qing, what is going on? Seeing that everyone was in a state of tumult, Gu Shi could not help but ask. Well, someone wants to poison me. Feng Ruqing sneered. Who dares to poison my dearest daughter? Gusher burst out in anger that was like a furious lion. His eyes were blazing with murderous intent. Did someone want to poison Gui? Who had the guts to lay his hand on Gui in the chief manner? Everyone exchanged glances of disbelief. Sponsored content remove ads? That is impossible. Gui is Gusher's everything. Who dares to poison her? Previously, Gusher had risen to the Manor Master and even killed the former Manor Master because of Gui. He knew that when he was powerful enough, so no one would dare to humiliate Gui. Naturally, everyone knew that how much Gusher loved his daughter. What do you mean? Qin Xiaoye sneered. You don't need to beat around the bush. You could just tell everyone that Luo Fei wants to poison Gui. Luo Fei has gone through all kinds of suffering and has spent so much time and effort before he could get this spirit herb for Gui. Not only have you destroyed it, you have even made him a scapegoat. Shaoli, look at your good friend. Sponsored content remove ads? Father would not poison Gui, but Shaoqing would not tell a lie, let alone make someone else a scapegoat. There must be something that I don't know. Luoli was lost in her own thoughts. Since Feng Ruqing did not say anything after that, it was clear that she did not want to speak any further. Hence, Luoli did not ask Feng Ruqing anything and was only waiting anxiously for the physician. Even though Luo Fei had upset Luoli, he was Luoli's father after all. Naturally, she did not want to see him making a big mistake. She did not want to see her grandfather's lifetime painstaking effort vanish without a trace. It was a silent night. The cloud overshadowed the last ray of moonlight. The chief manor was still brightly lit, and everyone was waiting, quietly. Simply no one knew how much time had passed. Suddenly, a guard escorted a gray-haired elder into the chief manor, anxiously. Manor Master, something happened in my manor and my daughter is sick. Hence, I had rushed back to my manor and did not manage to inform you. What has happened? Who is sick? Why are you summoning me so urgently? The gray-haired elder rushed up to Gusher, anxiously. Young Lady Shaoqing, this is the physician of Chief Manor, Grandmaster Qian Kuan. He is on par with the Grandmaster Hairong. Gusher turned to look at Feng Ruqing. Gusher would never let them off easily, regardless of whether Luo Fei had accidentally bought the fake spirit herb or if he had truly wanted to kill Gui. Sponsored content remove ads? Pfft. Although the Luo family has really found the 1,000 odds ginseng fruit, it turns out that Luo Fei is such a fool and has bought a violet leaf ginseng fruit instead. Even if the violet leaf ginseng fruit is a grade 6 spirit herb, it is not hard to get as it would only wither after a few months. Luo Fei is so smart but has ended up being cheated. He has truly offended the Manor Master this time. Standing rooted to the spot, tears broke free from Luo Li's eyes after hearing the crowd's chatter. Is Qin Xiaoye the one who had bought the fake ginseng fruit? You won't make this kind of mistake. Luo Li had a dry feeling in her throat. If Luo Fei was the one who had bought it, he must be able to tell there was something wrong with the ginseng fruit. Chapter 827. It must be Qin Xiaoye who had bought the wrong spirit herb. Luo Fei would never make such a mistake. Sponsored content remove ads? Father is not a fool. He must have asked Qin Xiaoye to buy the spirit herb. It must be Qin Xiaoye who has gotten cheated. Stop it. Luo Fei closed his eyes, as if in pain. This is my fault. I have bought this spirit herb. I was cheated. It has nothing to do with Xiaoye. She has never touched it. I have verified it many times before buying. How could this happen? Sponsored content remove ads? Since it was Luo Fei's fault, he would own up to his own mistake. For the first time, Luo Fei truly felt grateful for Feng Ruqing as she had stopped Gui. Only when Gui was safe, his mother and daughter would be free from danger. On the contrary, if Gui had died, none of the people of the Luo family would have survived. Father, it is impossible. Do you know what you are doing? You would never make this kind of mistake. Luo Li's voice was hoarse and exhausted. Luo Li could not believe what he had just heard. Staring at Luo Li's pale face, Luo Fei's heart was overflowing with bitterness. Until now, Luo Li still trusted Luo Fei to be a good person. On the contrary, Luo Fei had never trusted Luo Li. He truly felt sorry for her. Liar, you have finally called me your father. A relieved smile spread over Luo Fei's face. Sponsored content remove ads? I only have a simple wish. I really love Xiaoya. I hope both Xiaoya and you could get along well. I have never thought that you are so unyielding. Young lady Shaoqing is right. I don't deserve to be your father. I know that I shall meet my fate this time. Xiaoya may lose her mind sometimes, but she is kind. Liar, promise me, don't hate her. Is that all right? Luo Fei was still defending Qin Xiaoya at moments like this. Luo Li's body stiffened. Xiaoya, I'm not afraid of death. The only thing I am worried about is my young daughter and seriously ill mother. They are the only two people left in the Luo family in the future. Please look after them for me. Luo Fei turned to look at Qin Xiaoya. Luo Fei had actually asked Qin Xiaoya to take care of his daughter and mother? Did he think that they had had enough of life and wanted them to keep him company in the underworld? Sponsored content remove ads? Feng Ruqing truly felt Luo Fei was miserable and pitiful. You have hurt my daughter. Do you think I would let go of that? I would never do anything to the old and the young, but Qin Xiaoya will soon become your wife. Both of you must die. Gu Shi let out a burst of boisterous laughter. His eyes were blazing with rage. Hearing this, Qin Xiaoya's eyes widened in shock. Luo Fei was the one who had gifted the spirit herb to Gu Yi, and it had nothing to do with Qin Xiaoya. Why must she die? Manor Master, I have not married Luo Fei yet. I am still part of the Qin family. Why do you want me to die together with Luo Fei? Qin Xiaoya had completely lost her senses. Her heart was filled with resentment. When you told her that as long as Gu Yi was safe, Gu Shi would not do anything to the Luo family besides alienating Luo Fei. Currently, not only did Gu Shi want to kill Luo Fei, he actually wanted to kill Qin Xiaoya, too. This was completely different from what Wen Yu had said. Startled, Luo Fei stared at Qin Xiaoya's pale face. He had never thought of getting Qin Xiaoya involved. Chapter 828, however, Qin Xiaoya had resolutely distanced herself from Luo Fei when he was in danger. Sponsored content remove ads? Luo Fei could not help feeling bitterly disappointed. He had even entrusted her mother and daughter to Qin Xiaoya just now. It was utterly absurd beyond words. However, Luo Fei understood that he could not blame Qin Xiaoya. As the saying goes, husband and wife are like two birds living in the same forest but fly away in separate directions when disaster strikes. Moreover, Qin Xiaoya was not his wife yet. Xiaoya, you promised that you would get the Grandmaster Hairong to treat my mother. Since I have always been treating you so well, I beg to keep your promise. Luo Fei closed his eyes gently and opened them again slowly. Startled, Qin Fei stared at Qin Xiaoya. Since when had the Grandmaster Hairong agreed to treat the old lady of the Luo family? Qin Fei had never heard about this. Sponsored content remove ads? Qin Xiaoya did not expect Luo Fei to say this in public. Her face turned ghastly pale. Get Hairong to treat people? Startled, Qian Kuan asked. He had once vowed that he would never treat anyone for the rest of his life. I have discussed with him about the Mu family's old master in the past 2 days. I asked him about this. He told me that he had treated the Mu family's old master as he owed the Mu family a favor. He would never treat anyone else for the rest of his life. Qian Kuan paused for a while and continued saying, as Qin Xiaoya does not know Hairong, why would Hairong help her? Even Qian Kuan would not simply treat just anyone. He was here in the chief manor as he owed the manor master a favor. He treated the Mu family's old master as the old master was Qian Kun's casual acquaintance. He could not bear to see the old master suffer. Sponsored content remove ads? He would not simply treat anyone no matter how much they were willing to pay. Luo Fei panicked. Previously, Xiaoya had accidentally hurt Liar Hand. I asked her to apologize to Liar, but she told me that she could ask Qin Fei to get the Grandmaster Hairong to treat my mother as Qin Fei is very close to Mu Huan. The Grandmaster Hairong had treated Mu Huan so well. If the Grandmaster Hairong knew that I have asked Qin Xiaoya to apologize to Liar, He would not treat my mother. She promised me. It must be a lie. I won't believe it. Although Luo Fei loved Qin Xiaoya, Luo Li was his daughter. He had hurt his own daughter's feelings because of his mother. Everything he did it for his mother. Since Liar was so close to his mother, Liar would definitely understand Luo Fei in the future. Sponsored content remove ads? However, it turned out that everything was a lie. Aunt, how could you deceive others using my name? I am close to Huaner, but I don't know the Grandmaster Hairong. How could I have been able to get him to help? Qin Feier's eyes were blazing with fury as she glared at Qin Xiaoya in disbelief. It was fine if the Grandmaster Hairong was still treating people. However, everyone knew that the Grandmaster Hairong would never treat anyone anymore. Why did Qin Xiaoya do this? Luo Fei grabbed his hair tightly with his fists. Only when Qin Feier had finished her words, Luo Fei raised his head and looked dazedly at Qin Xiaoya. His voice was full of overflowing anger. You lied to me? Stop the nonsense. I did not say that. Luo Fei, as you have treated me so well, I did not tell others what you have done. I have never thought that you would make up this story and make me a scapegoat. Qin Xiaoya regained her composure and snorted. Chapter 829. Evening Feast 18. I lied to you? That is total nonsense. Who does not know that the Grandmaster Hairong has stopped treating people? Sponsored content remove ads? Hairong was different from Qian Kuan. Qian Kuan was willing to stay in the chief manor and occasionally treat some of his acquaintances. However, Hairong would never treat anyone without a special reason, even if that person was close to him. Luo Fei was such a fool to believe Qin Xiaoya. Qin Xiaoya. Luo Fei had wholeheartedly trusted Qin Xiaoyu, but it turned out that Qin Xiaoyu was lying. He had even broken Luo Li's heart because of her. Luo Li was so heartbroken and would never forgive Luo Fei again. Luo Fei, I don't want to harm you. I had felt sorry for you before. However, since you have done this to me, don't blame me for being ruthless. The corner of Qin Xiaoya's lips curved into a sneer. Sponsored content remove ads? Manor Master, Luo Fei told me that this ginseng fruit was extremely cheap when he bought it. It turns out that he is such a cheapskate that he had bought a highly toxic violet leaf ginseng fruit. He had nearly killed the manor lady. Please don't let him off so easily. Gu Shi had slowly regained his senses. Gu Shi would buy the idea that Luo Fei was deceived into buying a fake ginseng fruit. As Luo Fei was not a good observer, it was natural that he had gotten cheated. However, he would never believe that Luo Fei was a cheapskate. Even an ordinary people knew that the 1,000 odds ginseng fruit did not come cheap. Luo Fei was not a fool. He would not do that. Idiot. When you cursed, inwardly. Qin Xiaoya was too presumptuous and had made such a foolish mistake. She did not only fail to make Luo Fei a scapegoat, but she was also digging her own grave. Sponsored content remove ads? No matter what, when you must not let Qin Xiaoya get the entire Qin family involved in this. Check this lattice identity when we get back. She must die. Qin Li's eyes were fixed on Feng Ruqing. His gaze darkened. If not for Feng Ruqing, Gu Yi would have eaten the ginseng fruit. Gu Shi would lose his mind and Luo Fei would have been made a scapegoat. Qin Li had never thought that Feng Ruqing knew spirit herb quite well. She could tell the difference between 1,000 odds ginseng fruit and violet leaf ginseng fruit. Moreover, she was so close to Qin Chen. Hence, Feng Ruqing must die. Sponsored content remove ads? You said that Luo Fei had bought this violet leaf ginseng fruit because it was cheap? Over and over again, Gu Shi sneered. His eyes were blazing with fury. That is true. He has nearly hurt young Lady Gu because of this. Seeing Gu Shi getting more and more furious, Qin Xiaoya raised her chin. Gu Shi's lips curved into a sinister sneer. Even if Qin Xiaoya was telling the truth, Luo Fei was a cheapskate. The violet leaf ginseng fruit did not come cheap. If someone wanted to deceive Luo Fei, he could have used a cheaper spirit herb. Why would he use the violet leaf ginseng fruit? Luo Fei. Just as the tense atmosphere was reaching its climax, an aged voice spoke. Luo Fei looked up. a guard could be seen escorting the Luo family's old lady, who was walking with a crutch, into the courtyard. "Mother, why are you here?" Luo Fei panicked and rushed over to help the old lady. His eyes were filled with regret. Luo Li too rushed up to the old lady. Her face darkened. Perhaps she was still mad at Luo Fei, who was still defending Qin Xiaoya until now. However, in the end, Qin Xiaoya had pushed him away without any hesitation. Luo Fei felt really miserable. Bastard! Burning with anger, the old lady brutally brought her crutch down on Luo Fei's head. "Why did you leave in such a hurry this morning? You have forgotten the gift for young Lady Gu. I am here to send this to you." Chapter 830. I have taken the gift. Stunned, Luo Fei was lost in wonder. Sponsored content remove ads? As soon as Luo Fei finished his words, he looked at the box in the old lattice hand. It was very similar to the box he had gifted to Gu Yi. However, Luo Fei had brought the thousand odds ginseng fruit together with him when he had left the Luo family. Why would there be another one in the old lattice hand? Feng Ruqing narrowed her eyes. Qin Chen's words flashed through her mind. She suddenly realized something. She walked to Qin Chen and whispered to him, "Did you do this? If you like it, I could do it more often in the future." Qin Chen smiled brightly. "There is no need. I don't want anyone around me to get hurt." Fortunately, Feng Ruqing was here this time. Otherwise, Gu Yi would have died. "Mother, the thing in your hand is..." Luo Fei stared at the box, dazed. "Sponsored content remove ads? I thought you want to give this to young Lady Gu? Originally, I wanted to put a few needles on your bed to stab you, but I found this thing underneath your bed. Why would you put a spirit herb under your bed? No wonder you forgot to bring this with you." The old lady snorted. "The spirit herb was under my bed?" Stunned, Luo Fei did not even notice that his mother had said that she wanted to stab him with needles. "When did I put a spirit herb under my bed?" Luo Fei was lost in wonder. Luo Fei took the box and opened it before everyone's eyes. A baby-shaped glistening fruit laid inside the box and a sweet-smelling aroma lingered in the air. "What?" Qian Kuan snatched the box from Luo Fei's hands. A look of disbelief and shock crept into his eyes. "This is the real thousand odds ginseng fruit. Sponsored content remove ads?" It turned out that the old lady of the Luo family had sent over the real thousand odds ginseng fruit that Luo Fei wanted to gift Gu Yi. Why would there be 2,000 odds ginseng fruits? Moreover, one of it was highly toxic. Luo Fei's hand trembled. He did not know what was happening. Could it be that Luo Fei's mother had known what happened to Luo Fei and had bought another thousand odds ginseng fruit in order to save him? That was impossible. She could never get a real thousand odds ginseng fruit in such a short time. Why would there be 2,000 odds ginseng fruits? Sponsored content remove ads? Now, everything was clear. Someone wanted to harm Gu Yi and make the Luo family a scapegoat. It was such a good trick that killed two birds with one stone. However, why would that person put the spirit herb in Luo Fei's chamber? Rumor had it that Qin Xiaoya had moved into the Luo family recently and was staying together with Luo Fei. At this time, everyone stared at Qin Xiaoya's face, as if wanting to find something in her face. Stunned, Qin Xiaoya's mind went blank. Her eyes were fixed on the spirit herb in the box. Her heart skipped a beat. That is impossible. The thousand odds ginseng fruit should not be in the chamber. Qin Xiaoya had buried the thousand odds ginseng fruit. Before Qin Xiaoya could finish her words, she quickly came to her senses and realized what she had just said out loud. As the night wore on, the courtyard was eerily silent. Every word that Qin Xiaoya had said echoed in everyone's ears for a long time. Luo Fei could not believe what he had just heard and stared at Qin Xiaoya. Even when Luo Fei had found out that Qin Xiaoya had lied to him about the Grandmaster Herong, he had only felt disappointed. He did not lose his mind as he was doing now, as he knew that Qin Xiaoya had cheated him into marrying her. Now, Qin Xiaoya wanted to harm the entire Luo family. Chapter 831. If Gu Shi was not sensible enough and did not get Luo Fei's mother and daughter involved, The entire Luo family would have been massacred. Sponsored content remove ads? Luo Fei had been treating Qin Xiaoye so well and had loved her wholeheartedly. Why did she do this to the Luo family? When did Luo Fei ever upset her? Qin Xiaoye, you have exchanged my spirit herb? Luo Fei gritted his teeth. His eyes were blazing with rage. Who could have gotten close to Luo Fei besides Qin Xiaoye? Luo Fei should have found this out earlier, as he could feel that there was something wrong with Qin Xiaoye's expression when Gu Yi was about to eat the spirit herb. However, Luo Fei had trusted Qin Xiaoye too much and would never have doubted her. Luo Fei had even thought that he, himself, was such a fool to be deceived into buying a highly toxic spirit herb. It was true that Luo Fei was a fool. He had trusted someone who had nearly wiped out the entire Luo family, no matter what his mother or daughter had said. Sponsored content remove ads? It is such a good show. Qin Xiaoye, I have never thought that you were so vicious. You want to harm my daughter and make someone else a scapegoat. Gu Shi's lips curved into a sneer. Startled, Qin Xiaoye turned to look at Wen Yu. Her face was ghastly pale. Her eyes were blazing with furious anger. Sister-in-law said that everything would go smoothly. Why am I in trouble now? If I am going to die, I will die together with her. Bang! All of a sudden, Qinli threw a punch at Qin Xiaoye's chest and sent her flying backward. Sponsored content remove ads? Qin Xiaoye fell to the ground, blood gushing from her mouth. Her eyes widened with shock. Manner Master, my sister is truly bold to hurt young Lady Gu. I will banish her from the Qin family. From now onward, she is no longer part of the Qin family. Qinli cupped his fists in salute. You! Qin Xiaoye spat out a mouthful of blood. Her eyes were burning with anger. Previously, young Lady Gu had laid her hand on Xiaoye. I thought Xiaoye has let go of this. It turns out that she actually holds grudges against young Lady Gu and wants to poison young Lady Gu. She has even made Luo Fei a scapegoat. Qinli sighed. He did not even spare a glance at Qin Xiaoye. It happened a long time ago. Gu Yi heard Qin Xiaoye was making fun of her overweight body when she walked past Qin Xiaoye. Hence, she had beaten Qin Xiaoye up. If Qinli had not mentioned it, no one would have remembered that. Sponsored content remove ads? Qin Xiaoye is so vicious. She holds grudges for such a trivial matter. Fortunately, Qinli is highly principled and is banishing her from the Qin family. Qin Xiaoye is rightly served. Everyone on the spot heaved a sigh. They had never thought that Qin Xiaoye would poison Gu Yi because of this. Qinli, you have set me up. Qin Xiaoye clenched her fists tightly. Would Qin Xiaoye have tried to kill Gu Yi because of that? It was Qinli and Wen Yu who had asked her to do this. Why must Qin Xiaoye bear all the responsibilities alone? You are the one. Qin Xiaoye, what have I always told you? When you make a mistake, face the consequence. You wanted to make Luo Fei a scapegoat just now. Now you want to push all the responsibilities to the Qin family? There is no rancor between Gu Yi and the Qin family. Why would the Qin family want to harm her? Qin Li's face was icy cold. In the Qin family, Qin Feier had always been kind and had never gossiped about others. On the contrary, Qin Xiaoye had always been messing around and stirring up trouble. Naturally, everyone trusted Qin Li's words more. 1. Chapter 832. Qin Xiaoye's remorse. Qin Xiaoye's face stiffened as she looked at Qinli, who seemed cold, in disbelief. Sponsored content remove ads? She seemed to be sobbing as her body slightly trembled. Why are you treating me like Wei? Why? It's because of you guys, and it's all your fault. If it weren't because of you guys, I would not have fallen into such a state. At the moment, Qin Xiaoye finally understood that what a stupid mistake she had made this time. However, even if she told them that it was her sister-in-law who had put her up to this, would anyone believe in her? No. In comparison to her brother's reputation, her brother always had the good name of being a kind person. Therefore, nobody would believe any of her words. Qin Xiaoye. The corners of Qin Li's lips lifted into a sneer as he looked at Qin Xiaoye expressionlessly. Your mistake is not forgivable to everyone. You wanted to hurt Lady Gu just because of some spat. What other mistakes would you make in the future? For Tian Shun Manor's sake, today, I will not spare you. Qin Xiaoya clenched her fists tightly and gritted her teeth so hard that blood oozed out from her gums. She could not help but break out in tears, feeling sad and desolate as her face was soaked in tears. Sponsored content remove ads? She slowly turned around and looked at Luo Fei. He was the guy who really loved her from the bottom of his heart and treated her like a treasure. Thus, due to his trust in her, she had almost caused him to fall into the abyss, to his own demise. In this world, perhaps no other man would treat her better than Luo Fei anymore. Back then, after her father found out about the man she had fallen for, the man's first reaction was to beg for his life and swear never to see her again. Only Luo Fei, just now, when he wanted to speak up for her, she had put him in trouble by listening to others' slanderous words. Perhaps, as the old saying goes, the dying man speaks well as he speaks from his heart. Sponsored content remove ads? Every moment she had been through in her life flashed in her eyes. Only then she found out how stupid she had been living her life all the while. If she were not born into the Qin family, she would not have developed such a selfish character. Be it her father or sister-in-law, she was taught that every man has to live for himself. If she were not born into the Qin family, she would not care to be in a well-matched marriage and would have been married a long time ago. Also, she would not have become infertile because of the miscarriage. She did not have any intention to hurt anyone's life before. This time, her sister-in-law had threatened her because she had something on her. Indeed, she was desperate to get married and leave the Qin family. Still, she had never wished to destroy the Luo family. Sponsored content remove ads? She only thought that she was only doing Luo Fei some damage that was not fatal. However, she was too silly as she did not realize her sister-in-law intended to harm Gu Yi. There could be no turning back after that as she could only give up on Luo Fei and put herself away from this. Qin Xiaoya closed her eyes in agony. The Qin family had taught her selfishness, but they had never taught her how to respond to others. Aunt. Qin Fei regained her composure from the shock and said in deep resentment, "Why did you do this? To be so cruel just because of some disagreements?" Qin Xiaoya was rendered silent as the corners of her lips twitched. Back then, Qin Fei was an exception as she would always put herself in others' shoes. However, she was still a member of the Qin family. She eventually got influenced as she could not differentiate if someone's care was genuine or fake. Feng Ruqing and Qin Shen were both the calmest person present. It was very adorable of Qin Shen to bring Feng Ruqing a chair as he was afraid that Feng Ruqing was exhausted from standing. Blimey! Gu Yi hurried herself to carry a plate of fruits out. She took an apple and elegantly wiped the apple with a handkerchief before she handed it over to Feng Ruqing. Chapter 833. She smiled so widely as soon as Feng Ruqing accepted the apple. So much so that she did not even realize that she was acting like a little servant. Sponsored content remove ads? The corners of the nearby Gu Shi's eyebrows twitched as he felt a twinge of jealousy inside his heart. His daughter had never handed him any fruit before, but now she was doing it for a girl. He would have cried on the spot if they were not at an event. Xiao Li. Qin Fei looked at Qin Xiaoya in agony. In her weak and delicate state, she turned around and walked slowly, seemingly like she could be blown away by the wind any time. Xiao Li, she's my aunt. I really disapprove of her action, but I can't leave her alone. I beg you, would you please intercede for her? Sponsored content remove ads? She had already noticed that Gu Yi was treating Feng Ruqing differently just now. Also, Feng Ruqing was in a good relationship with Luo Li. So, if Luo Li interceded with Feng Ruqing, perhaps this matter would be settled. She did not like this aunt, but she could not do anything as after all, she was still her aunt. Her father did not care about her aunt, but being her niece, she just could not wash her hands off of this. Luo Li, who was standing next to old Lady Luo, obediently and said, "Lady Qin, have you pled for the wrong person?" Qin Fei froze. That was the first time Liar was being so indifferent to her. Was Liar really mad? Sponsored content remove ads? 1-inch liar. You're the only one who is capable of helping my aunt now. I know that my aunt shouldn't have taken your father away, but please help her. As long as you help her, she promises that she will never bother your father anymore. With sympathy filling Qin Feier's eyes, she extended her hand as she wanted to grab Luo Li's hand. However, Luo Li shrank away and avoided her hand. Qin Feier's hand froze midair. Her face paled and her body trembled even more. Perhaps what Luo Li had done had really hurt her. She slowly turned around and looked at Luo Fei. Master Luo, my aunt has been with you and has suffered a lot all these years. Can't you help her a little? Liar has always been listening to your advice. Even though my aunt has done something wrong, still, she's a woman. The whole chief manor was deadly silent after she was done talking in the trembling and aggrieved tone. Everyone was treating Qin Xiaoye with disdain now. However, all they did was to praise Luo Li after they saw what Qin Feier had done. Sponsored content remove ads? Within the Qin family, other than Qin Xiaoye, this scum, the rest are fine. Indeed, Qin Li, as the head of the family, he's righteous as he places justice above everything, including his loyalty to his family. Qin Feier is only a girl, so it's natural for her to be soft in her character. Even if everyone has given up on Qin Xiaoye, she still wants to speak for her. In fact, everyone could not help but glance at Qin Xion as they were talking. As for the Qin family's scum, besides Qin Xiaoye, there was still a guy like him in there. An adopted son who relied on the Qin family and lived a luxurious life. He would rather help others to bully his gentle and kind sister and not to pay single respect to his foster parents. Of course, nobody dared to point that out loud. Or else, they would end up like the middle-aged man who was thrown out just now. Nobody would ever dare to provoke Feng Ruqing in front of Gui. Luo Fei slowly closed his eyes as he saw Qin Feier's imploring eyes and then Qin Xiaoye's pale face. Luo Li was still standing next to the old lady without saying anything. The old lady did not interrupt as well as she seemed to be curious to find out if he still wanted to stick up for her. Luo Fei slowly opened his eyes after a while. He did not look as troubled as he was at the beginning since he had regained his composure. Chapter 834. It's Manor Master's business to deal with this matter, as I'm only an outsider. I can't do anything about this. Sponsored content remove ads? It was not that easy to let go of the years of feelings that he had for Qin Xiaoye. However, he could not forgive her for hurting an innocent person's life for the sake of a small matter. If he let her stay, he could not be sure that his mother and Liar would be safe and sound without being harmed. Moreover, he had no way of forgiving for wanting to harm the Luo family. Back then, he was blind as to regard her as an innocent and kind person without knowing what kind of evil heart she was hiding beneath her appearance. Luo Fei turned around and looked at Luo Li as soon as he finished speaking. His eyes were filled with the intent to flatter. Luo Li humphed coldly and turned her head around without even caring to look at Luo Fei. Sponsored content remove ads? Her father was too stubborn and too stupid since she had already told him several times that she saw what Qin Xiaoye had done. However, her father would rather believe in Qin Xiaoye but not in his daughter. She could forgive his foolish behavior if her father chose to stay with Qin Xiaoye for her grandmother, which annoyed her. However, his mistrust toward her had totally broken her heart. Liar. Qin Feier could do nothing but continue to stare at Luo Li sorrowfully. You are so kind that you would not be able to bear to do nothing to save my aunt from ruin. Liar, I beg you. Would you please save her? The Liar I know is always kind as she's not the kind of person who would leave someone in the lurch. Would you please help for I will beg you on my knees? Her knees slowly bent as tears filled her face. Many of the men present felt that it was painful to see her in tears. They wished they could take Luo Li's place so badly and agree to anything she asked for. Sponsored content remove ads? They would promise her anything as long as she would stop crying or speak in such a pathetic manner. Feier. When Yes' face distorted, Qin Li blocked her way just as she wanted to go forward. He shook his head and said, with a gentle smile, Let her go. Fair would not lose her reputation by doing so. On the contrary, it would make the world like her more. In comparison, Luoli, who had a heart of stone, would be hated by the world. Xiaoqing. Gui glanced at Luoli and asked, "Shall we help her a little with her trouble?" Sponsored content remove ads? It was impossible for Gui to not know well of Luoli's disposition. Therefore, sometimes, she disliked Luoli. Why must she give something that she liked to another person? And why must she be tolerant when she was the one who got bullied? She never liked a weakling. She only liked people who would punch anyone right away when they did not see eye to eye, just like Xiaoqing. Nope. Feng Ruqing took the last bite of the apple. She could deal with this on her own. Gui swiftly handed over a plate of grapes that she had just finished peeling to Feng Ruqing as soon as she saw her finishing the apple. Gu Shi was speechless. He could not help but pressed his palm to his chest. He felt so sad that his tears flowed backward and into his heart. Luoli looked at Qin Feier, who was kneeling in front of him. She looked even colder now. Qin Feier still wanted to morally coerce her at this point, just like what she had done for the past many years. Qin Feier, she didn't want to hurt your parents or your family. On the contrary, she's your aunt, and therefore it makes you think everything she has done is forgivable. What about me, then? Luoli sneered and continued, to be bullied by her. I deserved it. To get scalded by her. I deserved it. To be framed by her. Does my Luo family deserve that too? Qin Feier's body stiffened even more. Chapter 835 previously. She only needed to say a few words, and Luoli would listen to her. Why did it not work this time? Sponsored content remove ads? The hot water was spilled on my hands. The scars on my hands are still visible. She raised the back of her hand, even though she purposely did not use the spirit herb to remove the scar. Although the scar had faded a little, one could still see the pain she had suffered at that time. Qin Feier, you said that you were my friend. What were you doing? Knowing that I was scalded by the boiling water, you still held on to me tightly and refused to let me go. You keep on forcing me to accept Qin Xiaoya's apology. Qin Feier was bewildered. I didn't know that you were hurt so badly. Sponsored content remove ads? Okay, you didn't know that I was hurt so badly. If you're really my friend, you should definitely ask me where I was hurt and whether I needed treatment. But you didn't. You just refused to let me go. Qin Feier remained silent while Luoli criticized her. One was her aunt, and the other one was her friend. She just wanted to resolve the misunderstanding between them. Was there anything wrong with that? At that time, it was Xiaoqing who has appeared and took me away. I have only known her for a day. She could see the pain that I was enduring with just a glance, like a hand that pulled me out of the abyss of despair. Therefore, how could Qin Feier be comparable to Xiaoqing? Now, not only does she want to destroy the Luo family, but she also wants to hurt young Lady Gu. It's ridiculous. Everyone in Tianshan Manor knows that young Lady Gu is Manor Master Gus' dearest daughter. If you want to ask for forgiveness, you should go and find them yourselves. You are just a coward. You are afraid that they don't accept your apology and that it might affect the Qin family. You just want me to help persuade Manor Master Gu and young Lady Gu. Sponsored content remove ads? Qin Feier, what makes you think that I would do so much for the Qin family? Qin Feier was growing increasingly panicked after hearing Luoli's words. She did not dare to find Gu Shi, so she wanted to ask Luoli to help. But Luoli was different after all. Did Gui not like Feng Ruqing? Luoli had a good relationship with Feng Ruqing. So, she might be able to help Qin Xiaoya ask for forgiveness from them. Sponsored content remove ads? What if she was Luoli? She would not be like this. She would certainly lend a helping hand if her friend needed help. And you? Luoli glanced at the people of the neutral family with a sarcastic smile. If you guys sympathize with Qin Feier, then you should help her plead for Qin Xiaoya. Only then, I will look up to you all as heroes. Those men who had initially criticized Luoli were startled. They subconsciously took a few steps back, pleading for Qin Xiaoye in front of Gu Shi. Was it not like asking them to die? Gu Yi blinked and smiled. I realize that she is different from the others. If she has really sought for your help, then Xiaoqing would definitely not be friends with such a person, right? This was the first time that Gu Yi had changed her impression of Luo Li and praised her. Yes, Feng Ruqing nodded, calmly. But she want. Luo Li would not be soft-hearted toward Qin Feier, let alone those who had hurt her. Gu Yi's face was red. She lowered her head down shyly. Gu Shi so happened to witness this scene. His eyes twitched a few times. Dear daughter, don't flatter yourself. If Luo Li really pleaded for Qin Xiaoye, not only Feng Ruqing would not be friends with her, but also the others, too. Chapter 836. So, she did not really do that for you. Sponsored content remove ads? Of course, if Gu Shi dared to say this, Gu Yi would desperately fight him. He thought about it and managed to swallow the words. He glanced at Feng Ruqing, bitterly. His eyes seemed to blame Feng Ruqing for taking away his baby girl's heart. Feng Ruqing was stunned. Chainer, I did not offend Tian Shun Manor's manor master, right? Why did she feel that the manor master was staring at her so sharply? Was the manor master gay? Did he like Nanxian? Did he hate her because of her relationship with Nanxian? Sponsored content remove ads? Well, it was possible. Unfortunately, the state preceptor liked women. Juming seemed to like men. Should she introduce him to Gu Shi? They might end up being a great couple. One Gu Shi had regained his gaze from Feng Ruqing. He then smiled. The daughter of the Qin family is really kind. Qin Feier's maid. Lu Xia's heart ached when she saw her young lady had been kneeling since just now. When she heard what Gu Shi had said and seen his smile, she quickly lifted Qin Feier from the ground. Young lady, the manor master is praising you. She could not help but glare at Luo Li proudly when she said this. Sponsored content remove ads? She did not have to say too much. Anyone could see her young lattice kindness. Even the manor master was soft-hearted to her. Thank you, manor. Qin Feier bent down weakly. Gu Shi spoke again before Qin Feier could thank him. Young lady Qin is really kind. You used morality to threaten a girl and let her take all the blame. Why? Can't she cry or say it out loud if she was aggrieved? Why did she have to listen to you? Why should she accept the apology of the person who has hurt her? Qin Feier's smile froze. She felt very uncomfortable since her waist was not completely bent. Sponsored content remove ads? What made it more intolerable was the shame. If the manor master wanted to speak, why not finish all at once? Why embarrass her? Furthermore, what makes you think that I will let Qin Xiaoye go if young lady Luo pleads for her? Anyone who hurts my daughter must die, and those who plead for her should also die. In this case, will you still force young lady Gu to plead for her? One Gu Shi's smile slowly disappeared as he looked at Qin Xiaoye with a condescending attitude. Qin Xiaoye's face grew even paler. He clenched his fists tightly. The manor master had already spoken. What else could she say? If she asked Luo Li for help, would it not make others think that she wanted to force her to death? But she just wanted to let her aunt live. Even if her aunt was guilty, it would still be better than dying. She really did not have other motives. Was she wrong? Qin Li's eyes were getting cold. He just remained silent as he faced Gu Shi. Manor master. When you could not bear to see her daughter being criticized. My child, Feier did it out of kindness. Why did you not let her go? Why are you so merciless toward a girl? Gu Shi sneered. Merciless? I can't compare myself with Qin Feier. You know that she is a girl, too. What about the girl from the Luo family? If young lady Luo has really promised to help her, I will not let the Luo family go. If she refuses, then the younger generation in Tian Shun Manor will isolate her. Why does she have to take responsibility when it was not her fault? He really hated those women who would always cry and would not do anything. Those women who pretended to be delicate and weak, but actually were pushing you to hell, saying that everything they were doing was for your sake. 1. Chapter 837. Cheen Feier's face was getting paler. The Manor Master's words were like an invisible hand driving her, a weak girl, into the abyss, eternally doomed. Sponsored content remove ads? The people of the neutral family stopped pitying Cheen Feier and stood around, awkwardly. No one said a word on her behalf. The neutral family and the Cheen family did not dare to say anything at all. When you seemed to have something to say, but she stopped short. Cheen Feier then turned to look at Cheen Li. However, Cheen Li's face was cold. He seemed to be very dissatisfied with Cheen Feier's actions. She must make sure that everything was all right if she wanted to maintain her reputation. If she had even a little fault, she might damage the Cheen family's reputation. Sponsored content remove ads? Cheen Feier was about to cry. She slowly turned her head and looked at Cheen Chen again. The young man still wore a cold expression, but he smiled a little when he looked at Feng Ruqing. His smile was like a thorn that pierced deep into Cheen Feier's heart. She was disappointed and bitter. Manor Master, this time, it was my fault. Cheen Feier gently closed her eyes. She only opened her eyes after a while. I shouldn't plead for my aunt. Neither should I get Liar involved. What you have said is right. I will not do it again in the future. All right. Gu Shi could not really be too fussy with a little girl. He was fine with anything as long as she admitted that she was wrong. Sponsored content remove ads? However, it's not me that you should apologize to. It's the girl from the Luo family. You have almost caused her to look like a sinner in everyone's eyes. Actually, Gu Shi had helped Luo Li because she was Feng Ruqing's friend, not because Gu Yi liked Feng Ruqing. He just could not stand Cheen Feier's irrational actions. Indeed, Gu Shi had a personal motive. But the Cheen family had gone too far this time. Cheen Feier was also a person who did not know how to distinguish right from wrong. Sponsored content remove ads? Cheen Feier slowly let go of her tightly clenched fists. Her face was pale, and she looked ghastly. Liar, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I thought you had a good relationship with them, and that nothing would happen. I really didn't mean to hurt you. Cheen Feier was still not sincere. From the beginning until the end, she had just wanted to make herself look good. Aren't you good with each other? So, it is normal for me to have such an idea. I am innocent. If I had known that the Manor Master would be so indifferent toward personal affairs, I wouldn't have asked for your help. Anyway, I am not wrong. Luo Li felt annoyed. She could not care less than to talk to Cheen Feier, and simply wanted to ignore her. Bitch. Gu Yi snorted, coldly. Cheen Feier's face was extremely dark. However, she could not do anything due to Gu Yi's identity. Gu Yi was delighted when she saw that Cheen Feier had not spoken. Father, just drive these bitches out. Don't let them interrupt me from communicating with Shao Qing. This Cheen Feier is weak and ugly. I'm worried about giving myself an eyesore from them. No matter what, Cheen Feier was still the #1 beauty in Tianshan Manor. Now, Gu Yi was criticizing for being ugly? Everyone's gaze fell onto the girl who was eating grapes next to Gu Yi. Indeed, Cheen Feier was uglier than the girl. After Gu Yi had lost weight, she was no less pretty than Cheen Feier. The owner of the title, the #1 beauty, might have been passed on to another person. Chapter 838. Cheen Feier lifted her pale face. Her body was so weak and shaking as if she was unable to bear such grievances. Sponsored content remove ads? Gu Yi smirked. Manor Lady Cheen, didn't you ask me to be tolerant of people? So, when it happens to you, can't you bear it, can you? Well, I think the Cheen family's location is great. Do you mind giving the land to Xiaoqing and allowing her to build a manor there? I also really like your clothes. Why don't you just take them off and give them to me? Since you are so kind and gentle, I bet you won't reject my requests. Everyone was speechless. Was Gui a devil? Everyone knew about Qin Fei's gentleness and kindness. Gui was disdained by that. If she was so kind, she should not slap back when others had slapped her. If she was so gentle, she should have given her favorite things to other people. Sponsored content remove ads? Why did she let her friends suffer alone and had even convinced her to let go of her favorite things? Was it just to build a good reputation for herself? It was such a pity that she would only oppose Luoli when Luoli was in conflict with other people. She just acted as Luoli's friend and had always wanted to paint herself as a good person. Therefore, Gui was also disdained by Luoli. Why should she listen to Qin Fei? Why should she have to put up with them? Why should she let go of her things just because Qin Fei said so? But that was already in the past. Luoli's change had allowed Gui to look at her differently. Only now, she could respect and think better of Luoli. Gui did not even look at Qin Fei after making ironic remarks about her, but instead looked at Feng Ruching with a smile. Sponsored content remove ads? Xiaoqing, what do you think about what I have just said? Feng Ruching stretched herself and said, I'm tired, all right. Gui smiled while looking up. Father, don't waste any more time. Haven't you seen that my Xiaoqing is tired? Just solve the problem and kick those unnecessary people out. The feast should start now. Gu Shi's heart was twitching. His little devil was not so gentle to anyone else, but only to Feng Ruching. Come and drive the people of the Qin family out, except for Qin Qian and Qin Xiaoya. Qin Xiaoya must die. As for Qin Chun, sponsored content remove ads? The Manor Master had lived long enough to sense that this young man had a special relationship with Feng Ruching. If Qin Chen was driven out, his little devil would surely fight with him desperately in order to defend Feng Ruching. He could not afford to offend her. 1 inch you don't have to drive us out. We will leave on our own, Qin Li said, coldly. However, Qin Chun is my son. He must follow me. Qin Chun seemed to be indifferent toward Qin Li's words, as if he had not heard him. Chainer. Qin Li frowned. Don't you even want to listen to your father? This brat, did he not see that Fei was being bullied? The Qin family's reputation had also been damaged. Nonetheless, he had done absolutely nothing about it. He was truly a white-eyed wolf. After seeing Qin Li's attitude, Gu Shi cocked his eyebrows a little. He knew that he should not meddle with the Qin family's matters, although he was the manor master. Chainer. Qin Li was very angry, but he must remain calm. Go back with me. Father. Qin Fei pulled at Qin Li's sleeve. She smiled. Although Qin Chun is the adopted son of the Qin family, he has his own will. If he does not want to go back, don't force him. Fei, you are such a stupid child. When you sighed, softly. Your father also cares for Chainer. He has been with the Qin family for many years. The Qin family has a deep affection for him. We are just worried that he would be deceived by others. 1. Chapter 839. Life gradually came back into Qin Fei's pale face. She looked at Qin Chin's cold face. It seemed that she had something to say, but stopped herself before doing so for some reason. Sponsored content remove ads? The neutral family who had witnessed this could not help but laugh at it. Was the adopted son of the Qin family rebellious? His family asked him nicely, but he was not willing to return home with them. Even Qin Fei, who cared for him so much, was being hurt by him, and she did not dare to persuade him. He was just the adopted son. How could he be so domineering and ungrateful? They were afraid to speak out. If they dared to say anything bad about Qin Chen in front of Feng Ruching, Gui would surely raise her fists and punch them in their heads. Chainer. Feng Ruching stretched out lazily. She then stood up and smiled. Her eyes were full of joy. Would you like to go back with them? Qin Shan said coldly, I will go back, but not by following anyone's order. I will go back when I feel like it. He would go back. He would definitely go back. He had not destroyed the Qin family. Sponsored content remove ads? He still had not helped Qing to eradicate her enemies. How could he not go back? He was no longer the weak man he used to be. He would not let himself be wronged by anyone for Qing's sake. Okay, Qinli said coldly, let's go. After that, he walked out of the Gu family without looking back. Qin Fair followed closely behind Qinli. She looked at Qin Shen with her sore eyes before she left and eventually went with her father. But her glance was imprinted in many people's hearts and could not be forgotten for a long time. Sponsored content remove ads? Qing Han. After everyone from the Qin family had left, the girl's indifferent voice sounded in the night. A little cute and lovely Loli jumped down from the tree. She was like a bright sun shining the earth. A drooling sound involuntarily sounded. For those who liked little Loli, this little girl was so cute, and even better than the fairy in the painting. She also had 2 buns, and her little face was round. Her eyes were as big as grapes and also looked like the stars. Where does this little girl come from? Why did she hide in a tree? Sponsored content remove ads? Rather than asking why she hides in a tree, shouldn't it be when did she climb up the tree? None of us had noticed about it. Indeed, such a harmless little girl. No one would think too much. This little girl was as pure and innocent as a blank piece of paper. Mother. Qing Han ran into Feng Ruqing's arms. Everyone was shocked when they heard her calling Feng Ruqing her mother. So was Luo Li. Was this little girl Feng Ruqing's daughter? Did she even have a daughter? Only a beautiful woman like Feng Ruqing could give birth to such a cute and lovely girl. Just that innocent smile that day had already touched many uncles' and aunts' hearts. Pure and innocent? These people must have never seen the true colors of this little devil. Feng Ruqing slightly smirked. I still have something to say before the Gui's birthday feast starts. I don't want to hear anyone saying bad things about Chainer and Tianshan Manor. You must praise him. Praise him. Qin Shan was smiling warmly. He never cared about anyone's words. However, he felt the warmth in his heart when Feng Ruqing protected him. Chapter 840. Have you heard what my mother said? Qing Han left Feng Ruqing's arms and turned her head. She frowned, cutely. You are not allowed to say anything bad about Uncle Qin. Otherwise, I will really bite you because I am very fierce. Sponsored content remove ads? Hee hee. Someone laughed. How could a girl who was so soft and cute be fierce? She was more adorable than fierce. Qing Han was really angry. She was really fierce. Why did no one believe her? Believe me, I'm super fierce. I've killed the person who didn't believe me before. Perhaps it was because the neutral family was facing a cute little girl. They were not afraid of her at all. Sponsored content remove ads? A person even laughed provocatively and said, Little girl, if you say that your mother is fierce, we will still believe you. But you are saying. Qing Han's face was still soft and cute, which exuded innocence even when she was angry. My mother is not fierce. My mother is very good. How dare you say that my mother is fierce? Clash. Vines spread from behind little Qing Han like tentacles and immediately tightened themselves around the person. Everyone's face stiffened. Little Qing Han's face was very still cute and lovely under the moonlight so much so that it made people want to pinch her face. But no one dared to laugh at her. No one dared to take a step closer toward her. Sponsored content remove ads? Because they looked at the vines, which came from the little girl's back. They felt a chill creeping into their hearts from the soles of their feet. It was cold and uncomfortable. Is this little girl a spirit beast? Finally, someone spoke while trembling. Humanized beasts did exist, but it was rarely sighted. Therefore, no one could have linked little Qing Han to a spirit beast. They thought she was just an ordinary little girl. If they knew that this little girl was a spirit beast, they would not have dared to make fun of her even if they were full of guts. Ching Han got even angrier. Sponsored content remove ads? You are the spirit beast. Your whole family is full of spirit beasts. Why did everyone treat her like a beast? It was such a shame. Treating Ching Han as a spirit beast was like calling her a dog. Different species were naturally different. This person's words were insulting to Xiao Ching Han. Only Gu Shi remained silent the whole time. He looked at Ching Han thoughtfully and seemed to have something in his mind. Ching Han. Feng Ruqing saw that Ching Han's mouth was getting bigger again. She patted Ching Han's head and whispered softly, "Don't simply go around biting people, or you might get a stomachache." Ching Han's vines instantly loosened. She stood quietly beside Feng Ruqing and held her arms like a good and obedient child. "Yes, mother." Usually, if someone saw such a well-behaved child, they would praise the girl for being so well-behaved. However, everyone was scared of her now. No matter how cute the girl was, it was still scary to know that she was a spirit beast and people dared not despise her. Okay, what Xiao Qing had said just now are also my words. You are not allowed to gossip about Qin Chun in the future. Gu Shi waved his hand. Come, get Qin Xiaoye out and execute her. The feast is about to start. This night was destined to be an unpeaceful night. First, Mu Ling had brought his wife and daughter to the chief manor, but was not allowed to enter. Later, the Qin family was driven out of the chief manor. A new storm was bound to set off in Tian Shun Manor when the news spread. Chapter 841. The Enemy of All Men v. Maiden Xiao Qing. After the dinner feast, Grandmaster Qian Kuan walked toward Feng Ruqing with a smile. You are able to sense the uniqueness of the ginseng fruit at a glance. Do you also research on sprit herbs? Grandmaster Qian Kuan. Gui smiled and walked over without waiting for Feng Ruqing to speak. My Xiao Qing is way more capable than that. She has even given me a medicine that helped me get slimmer. Gui did not mention the name of medicine. Grandmaster Qian Kuan was surprised. He was the same as Grandmaster Hairong. They were extremely arrogant. They would not simply do something just because someone asked them to. Hairong did save a lot of people's lives before. However, an unfortunate incident had happened and had broken his heart. From then on, he had refused to accept any patients. As for him, he was not willing to heal anyone unless it was someone whom he was familiar with. As a strong man, he had his own pride. But even arrogant and strong men would have a liking for geniuses. To him, the current Feng Ruqing was not only a genius. Therefore, Qian Kun's smile became kinder and gentler as if he was looking at his beloved junior. Maiden Xiao Qing is very talented. I had also wanted to help the young lady to lose some weight, but she had too much fat in her body. I could only use some powerful medicines that would cause physical damage to her body. So, I did not dare to try. Recently, he was surprised when Gu Yi returned with a slimmer figure. He thought Gu Yi was using some powerful spirit herbs to lose weight. He hurriedly diagnosed her, but later found that Gu Yi was fine and healthy. Gu Yi did not tell him anything about it until now. Qian Kuan finally got to know that it was Feng Ruqing's effort. Gu Yi raised her eyebrows proudly as if Qian Kuan was praising her. My Xiao Qing is not only talented in this. Every woman in Lu Yun Kingdom likes her. Gu Yi also added. Then Xiao Qing became the enemy of all men in Lu Yun Kingdom. Feng Ruqing was speechless. She did not know whether she should be proud or sad about it. As a woman, she was regarded as the enemy of all men. It seemed that no one had failed more than her. Qian Kun's eyes were shining. He admired and envied her. The enemy of all men. He wanted to be that person, too. Would he be given a chance? What about teaching him some techniques to win a girl's heart? Me for extra chapters. Feng Ruqing's fingers stroked her chin. She groaned. Grandmaster Qian Kuan. I want to ask you something. Yes? You can just ask me anything. I will try to answer them. It would be fine as long as you could tell me how to become the enemy of all men in the world. It's about old Master Mu. She had been in Tian Shan Manor for a while. Hence, she had learned about the Mu family. It was said that Mu Ling had started to create chaos everywhere after Old Master Mu fell ill. She had also heard that Old Master Mu often beat and scolded Chen Xingyin after he went crazy. However, Chen Xingyin had endured all the humiliation and still served him dedicatedly. Chen Xingyin had originally spread these words to make a good reputation for herself. But this news had pleased Feng Ruqing. As the saying went, the enemy of an enemy was a friend. She was extremely happy that Old Master Mu beat and scolded Chen Xingyan. Anyway, those who had hurt Su Yi and Nan Xian should be punished. She was delighted to hear that Chen Xingyan was having a bad time. Qin Kuren was in doubt. He did not understand how Feng Ruqing was related to the Mu family. Why else would she ask about the Mu family? I have diagnosed old Master Mu's condition once. Qin Kuren frowned and smiled helplessly. We have known each other for a long time. To be honest, I have always thought that my medical skills were great, but it turned out that that isn't the case. I really didn't know what kind of illness old Master Mu has. Feng Ruqing remained silent. Qin Kuan continued. After that, Chen Xingyan of the Mu family asked the butler to bring me a prescription, which I did not know where she got that from. Old Master Mu was very weak. He was unconscious. That prescription did help to ease his illness for a bit. The old man did recover a little in the past few years. However, he gradually lost his temper and refused to take the medicine. His health has worsened. I don't know how is he now. The Mu family didn't ask me to diagnose him since some time ago. They just let Mu Huan bring Hairong back. Feng Ruqing did not believe that Chen Xingyan would be so kind. In fact, there were people who would render good for evil in this world. That was the case for some people. No matter what you did to her, she would reward you with virtue that would touch your heart. But was Chen Xingyan such a person? Obviously not. She had done a lot of things in order to enter the Mu family. She was obviously the kind of person who would render good for evil. Okay. Feng Ruqing smiled. Sorry for troubling you. Qin Kuan was kind. Although I rarely heal people now, my disciple has opened a medical center in Tian Shan Manor. There are many kinds of treatments available there. You can go there anytime if you are free next time. We can sit down and further discuss our medical skills. Feng Ruqing smiled. Okay. This time, Qin Kuan did not say much. He laughed twice and stroked his beard. He then walked into the dark of the night, heading to the chief manor. Me for extra chapters. Feng Ruqing regained her senses after Qian Kun's figure had completely disappeared. She said, heavily, how is Grandmaster Qian Kun's temperament like? Although Gu Yi was obese since she was young, not all fat people were dumb. On the contrary, many fat people were very smart. She thought for a moment and immediately understood what Feng Ruqing meant. Are you worried that Grandmaster Qian Kuren might be lying? I think he told you the truth. He diagnosed old Master Mu because he has known him for a long time, not because of the Mu family. Furthermore, he is a righteous person. He would not do anything that might ruin his reputation. So, the prescription that the Mu family has brought should have no problem. If the prescription was not the problem, that meant the problem lay with the Mu family. Do me a favor and ask Grandmaster Qian Kuan to write me that prescription. Gu Yi tilted her head. Xiao Qing, are you implying that someone in the Mu family wants to kill old Master Mu? The Gu family's style was a lot easier. The Gu family's internal issues were not that complicated because the only master was Gu Yi and her father. But that did not mean that Gu Yi understood nothing. If someone in the Mu family wanted to harm old Master Mu, there was only one possibility. Chen Xingyan and her children. Xiao Qing, Leave it to me. Gui's face darkened. If Xiaoqing had guessed it correctly, then it would only prove that this Mu family was really terrible. Fortunately, she was not married to the Mu family. Otherwise, she might not know what would happen to her after her father died. Feng Ruqing turned to look in the other direction that was exactly facing the Mu family. Her eyes were very cold. Mother! Xiaoqing Han pulled her hand and looked in the direction of the hill behind the chief manor. Feng Ruqing did not speak. She just took Xiaoqing Han and walked into the night after she had said goodbye to Gui. Luo Li had left with the Luo family. Qin Shen had gone back just now. Now, only she and Qing Han were left. Somehow at this moment, she missed the state preceptor so much. She could only think of him in her mind and in her heart. Mother, I have found the thing that summoned me. It is right on the back hill of the chief manor. If we know where it is, it will be easier. Feng Ruqing smiled. We will come to the chief manor again sooner or later. At that time, I will find a way to go to the back hill. All right, Mother. Qing Han smiled brightly. These two people gradually disappeared in the quiet night under the cold moonlight. As soon as Gui returned to the chief manor, she saw that Gu Shi was sitting and waiting for her. There were a lot of gifts from the other families in the hall. However, Gui did not even so much as glance at those gifts. She just held, tightly, onto the paper that Feng Ruqing had given to her. She stared at Gu Shi carefully because she feared that he would snatch the paper from her. Ahem. Gu Shi cleared his throat. Did you send away Maiden Xiaoqing? You don't have to be so nervous. Isn't it just a piece of paper? I will not snatch it from you. Listen to me. Put the paper down first. We haven't talked for a long time. Did you see any man that you like at the dinner feast today? Gui stared blankly at him and shook her head. I am not sure. I was not paying attention. Gu Shi's mouth twitched twice. This girl was only paying attention to Feng Ruqing. He had organized the dinner feast for nothing. Me for extra chapters. Actually, I think young Master Zhang is quite good. Although the Zhang family is not very strong, young Master Zhang's temperament is good. He also has a good personality. Oh, young Master Zhao is also quite good. Please put down that thing in your hand first. I really will not snatch it from you. One Gui looked at Gu Shi suspiciously. Really? Really? He was the manor master of Tianshan Manor. How could he just snatch away his daughter's things? Besides, that was just a piece of paper. He did not need to do that. Oh, okay then. Gui was relieved. She had taken a lot of her father's treasures. Therefore, she thought her father would want to take something from her this time. Gu Shi saw Gui's relaxed face. He frowned. This little devil really thought of him as someone who would snatch other people's things. Gui was relieved. She loosened her grip on the paper in her hand. She carefully placed it on the table far from Gu Shi. She slowly walked toward Gu Shi. Seeing Gui acting weird like this, Gu Shi really wanted to know what Feng Ruqing had written to her. Thus, he quickly stepped forward and grabbed the paper that was on the table while Gui was not paying attention. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.